Welcome to the IntualityAI podcast, where we try to give you predictions about the future, and in this case, specifically about the virus, COVID-19 in the US, UK, and Canada. Grant Renier is with me. We've been having a lot of interaction from our previous podcasts, and there's just a couple of things I want to say right up front. We are not being paid or influenced by anybody to bring these predictions to you. They come out of Grant's Intuality Artificial Intelligence program, so that's the first thing. Secondly, prediction is difficult. We hope that these predictions in some ways are incorrect. Nobody would love this thing to go away as quickly as we would, but we have to use the science we have to try to look ahead and at least prepare for the worst and plan for the worst and hope for the best. So with that in mind, Grant, let's see what you got up on the screen there.
Okay, Howard. First, these are updates from the podcast that we did last Sunday, and some of the same charts, but some of the curves have changed. First chart here is of the cases that we project for the USA. It's now a curve that starts out about where it is right now, 890,000. And during the month of June, there's some minor flattening of that curve, but the news is that the system is predicting a second wave. And that doesn't mean that that's going to stay there forever. The system might make different predictions in the future, but that's the way it sees it at this point.
Right. And one of the things, again, we should always say about cases depend on testing, and the amount of testing has been very variable. We expect there to be more tests. That actually has not been factored in, correct, Grant, into the artificial intelligence. We're just going on where we are right now.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And we think that probably in the data that's being reported, they end up being, or the number of tests ends up being a function of what's being reported. So that's why we stay with those numbers. The next chart here is the deaths projected for, within the United States. And currently it's right around 48,000. And we predict it, the system predicts it to be leveling out at about 88,000 deaths sometime in early June. And then in late July, it looks like it's calling for a second wave. So that's interesting. The slope of that curve, that is the growth of that second wave, seems to be pretty much the same as it is currently.
Yeah, that's disappointing, to say the least, if that would happen, but it is in keeping with the previous predictions that were made. And one of the things I want to talk about is just briefly is about the death rate. I see a lot of posting of people say, oh, you know, the death rate in Georgia is only 0.00082. No, that's the risk of having already been dead, having already died. We don't know. You can't assume that rate is going to stay the same. Right? That's the whole point about prediction. You just don't know what's going to happen.
That's correct.
So when people are quoting the current death rate, that's the only thing we know. The problem is what's going to happen to that. And so I think that people misunderstand that. They assume that the death rate per country or for any area is going to stay exactly the same. And that's not likely to happen.
That's true. The next chart is for Canada's number of cases that are projected. Currently, they're down around 49,000. And again, it seems as though that curve is going to continue its growth through the latter part of August, with some slight change in the rate in early mid part of July. And then going to the deaths that are projected for Canada. Again, it's somewhat similar to the US in that it's leveling out, occurring early in June. It doesn't get quite as flat as it does in the US, however. It continues to grow, and then it kicks up in late July with what is being projected as a second wave.
Their deaths and infections are way less than the U.S.
Yes,
Although that graph looks similar, the actual numbers are quite different.
that's right. And then going to the United Kingdom, again, this looks very similar to the United States and Canada. The curve flattens out a little bit in June and July, but then kicks up starting in late July to the current growth rate. So that's not good news, but that's the way the projections are coming out at this point. And as Howard has pointed out, this can definitely change as we go forward.
Right. And again, those are cases which will be a function of testing. So,
yeah. The next one is the deaths in the United Kingdom. Again, a similar curve to that of the United States, a flattening out in early June and a kick up in what we would call a second wave in early July. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the U.S. What we've done is we've picked out the 6 leading states according to Johns Hopkins University in terms of cases and deaths, and listed them here through the color combination here. And you can tell that, for example, New York is the green. That's the one that's at the top. They have the highest number of cases. And there is, in all of these lines, no flattening of the curve to speak of all the way through the summer and right through the end of August. And so the various curves here, you can identify the state, one of the states that you might be in. And incidentally, these are posted on our website at IntualityAI.com. So if you want to take a closer look at this and identify your state, you can go there.
And Grant, if people want to find out their data from their state, can they ask for that, and can you provide it?
Yes, we can. So just to drop a comment on YouTube or on Facebook and let us know the state that you would like to see, and we will put that up on our website where you can see it, and you'll see it in much more detail without overlaying it with other curves. And incidentally, all the way through this, we want to point out that we need your subscriptions. So please subscribe down below at the left, and you can help us build our credibility and viewership with YouTube and with Facebook as well. So please subscribe, and that'll help us out. We are doing this service for free. As an alternative to anything that we might charge for the service, your subscription is worth a lot to us.
Yes, thank you, and keep the comments coming. We can handle any comments you send us. But just remember, this is a prediction. And again, we're trying to use the best science that we know of to look at the future so we can be prepared for it. This isn't about spreading doom and gloom. We don't have any agenda except to try to inform the debate. We recognize we might be wrong, as Grant says. We work these data every hour. We're looking at them and hoping that they will change. And certainly, if they do significantly change, we'll be up immediately to inform you of that, because that is important to us. We want the best for you, and the best for you right now is to follow the instructions. Social distance, stay at home unless it's absolutely necessary to go out. And that does include exercising, by the way. And just try to be as positive and open-minded as possible. Obviously, in a situation like this, there's a lot of fear and anxiety. And that, while that's completely understandable, getting locked in that is not helpful, will not help the situation moving forward.
Right. And again, I'll repeat that all of this information projections come from a artificial intelligence system that we have, and it produces the results that you've seen. We don't interfere or change or modify any of those results with our own bias. Everything you see comes directly from the computer system. So that's important to remember here.
Absolutely. So stay well, stay safe. We'll keep you updated, and we hope, like you do, that these predictions turn out to be modified and modified over the next few days and weeks, and we'll show them to you as and if they are. But we need to be as informed as possible, and that's all we're trying to do. So stay well. Thanks, Grant.
Thank you very much, Art.